Thank you for joining us for another episode. Today we're going to be taking a look at a game called the Last Notepad from 2008. My name is David Miles Carter, and this is the Pixel Report. Let's start the show. Today we're going to be taking a look at a game called the Last Notepad. This is a very special episode because this is a great little game and I finally get to unveil it to the public. The Last Notepad is a very unique old-school top-down shooter that takes place entirely on notebook paper. This concept has never been done before. This game was made for the PlayStation Network and is playable through the PSN version of Desimon Plus. Now, Desimon Plus is a Japanese development kit that allows you to make your own shooters from scratch. The original release was for PlayStation back in 1996, but was recently made available on the PlayStation Network. The making of this game is a very interesting story, so I figured I would have some fun telling it. Okay, so the original version of Desimon Plus that came out in 1996 was meant to be used with the PlayStation mouse. However, this PSN port of the game does not have mouse support. So that means if you download this version to either PlayStation 3 or a PSP, you have to make the game entirely with a D-pad. So I decided I would take this challenge in game design. Plus I was excited that I would get to make games on a handheld system by downloading Desimon Plus onto my PSP. So I had to come up with a graphically minimalist game that I can draw and animate pixel by pixel with no mouse support, using only an up, down, left, right directional pad. So after much brainstorming, I came up with the Last Notepad, a space adventure franchise that takes place entirely on notebook paper. I designed the game to seem like it was being drawn in a notebook by a kid in study hall. This gives it kind of a whimsical adolescent type feel. So since the game was being made on a PSP, I took this thing everywhere I went. I worked on the game during my lunch breaks. I worked on the game inside my cubicle. I worked on the game while walking. And I even worked on the game in my sleep. Finally, after much work, at last the game was complete. So with that being said, I'd like to apologize in advance that the footage of the game you're about to see was recorded off a TV screen. So the quality isn't the best, but it's just passable enough to show. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the featurette. We're out of time for this episode. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.